tell me that I'll be walking through doors. 'Cause when I try to quit you, I go through withdrawals. Tell me that when I die, I'll be the ghost of you.
Hi everyone, Jay here and welcome. Thanks for joining me today to plan my October TBR. I have wanted to add some scary books into the mix, but didn't really know where to start, even though I do have some books on my shelves I believe will fall into this category. I decided to do an old Google search and came across a list on Esquire called the 50 Best Horror Books of All Time Will Scare You blank lists. So let's see what their top picks are. Okay, I don't really want to read their number one pick. I have thought about it many times over the years. It is the book It by Stephen King. One that I've never read. I have seen the movie years ago and I do remember it being pretty creepy. Let's see what else is on this list. Number two. Okay, I have this one and I have started it before, but I do believe I didn't start it around this time of year and it just didn't feel like a vibe, and that is House of Leaves. So that's a possibility. This one has also been on my radar for a long time. I've seen the series on Netflix, but do believe that the book might be quite different, and that is The Haunting of Hill House. I do not have that one, but I could see if it's available on Libby, or if not, I could possibly buy it. Number four is The Shining. I have read that one. This one I haven't heard of. Riverhead Books, The Little Stranger by Sarah Waters. Okay. Ghost Story by Peter Straub, and Beloved by Morrison. Head Full of Ghosts by Tremblay. Dracula by Stoker. Okay, Frankenstein by Shelley, which I also have and have not read. Okay, let me think about this for a second and I'll be right back. Okay, so to help me figure this out, I did pull these books up, and like in my fall recommendations video, I'm going to do that same trick on myself and read the first line of each synopsis and possibly pick 2 or 3 of these that I am going to add to my October TBR. So House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski is the first one that I pulled up. That first line of the synopsis is: a young family moves into a small home on Ash Tree Lane where they discover something is terribly wrong. Their house is bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. Okay, like I said, I did start that one. I really didn't get very far into it, maybe just like 10 pages or something. Okay, The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. It is the story of 4 seekers who arrive at a notoriously unfriendly pile called Hill House. Dr. Montague, an occult scholar looking for solid evidence of a haunting. Theodora, the lighthearted assistant. Eleanor, a friendless, fragile young woman. Okay, so this is a very long first sentence. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next one. The Little Stranger by Sarah Waters. One post-war summer in his home of rural Warwickshire, Dr. Faraday, the son of a maid who has built a life of quiet respectability as a country physician, is called to a patient at Lonely Hundreds Hall. Okay. Ghost Story by Peter Straub. For 4 aging men in the terror-stricken town of Melbourne, New York, an act inadvertently carried out in their youth has come back to haunt them. Okay. Beloved by Toni Morrison. Staring unflinchingly into the abyss of slavery, this spellbinding novel transforms history into a story as powerful as Exodus and as intimate as a lullaby. Okay. A Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay. The lives of the Barretts, a normal suburban New England family, are torn apart when 14-year-old Marjorie begins to display signs of acute schizophrenia. That sounds really interesting. And then Dracula and Frankenstein, I feel like we're all familiar with what those are about, but I still want to read the first sentence. When Jonathan Harker visits Transylvania to help Count Dracula with the purchase of a London house, he makes a series of horrific discoveries about his client. Okay, and then Frankenstein. Actually, that one I did have to pull from somewhere else because it was actually really hard to find just a normal synopsis on that one. In an attempt to create a perfect new being, scientist Victor Frankenstein secretly assembles a collection of body parts and activates it with an electrical charge. I have to say I am leaning towards House of Leaves and A Head Full of Ghosts. And possibly Ghost Story. Okay, so I am gonna step away, grab a quick bite to eat, and then I will come back and we can put together the whole TBR. So I pulled a few books from my shelves and also decided to check out a couple of online discussions on the subject just to make sure I really was picking some very creepy reads for this spooky season. And I did come across some other titles that were repeated and do seem pretty scary. And I'm going to go ahead and read the first line of the synopsis for those 4 books. The first one is Phantoms by Dean Koontz. That first line of the synopsis is, they found the first body hideously swollen and still warm. Okay. The second book is The Hunger by Alma Katsu. That first line is, Tamsin Donner must be a witch. The third book is I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid. It's some broken up sentences, so I'll read the first line. I'm thinking of ending things. Once this thought arrives, it stays, it sticks, it lingers. It's always there, always. I like the sound of that. And I will say I have been interested in this book for some time. It's why I avoided watching the movie on Netflix, because I didn't want to spoil myself knowing that I was going to want to read this book before watching the movie someday. And then the last book that came up as one of the scariest books people have read is Last Days by Adam L.G. Neville. That first line of the synopsis is, when guerrilla documentary maker Kyle Freeman is asked to shoot a film on the notorious cult known as the Temple of the Last Days, it appears his prayers have been answered. So I'm trying to narrow it down to 5 or 6. I narrowed it down to 6 picks. They are A Head Full of Ghosts, Last Days, I'm Thinking of Ending Things, and then 3 on my physical TBR, House of Leaves, Frankenstein, and Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant. This was a last minute decision as I was looking at my shelves. I've had this book for quite a long time and still hadn't read it. The first line of the synopsis is, the ocean is home to many myths, some are deadly, and is described as gripping, thrilling, and brutal. So feel free to let me know in the comments if you're going to be reading along with any of these or have read these books. I plan to film an October wrap-up and maybe even a reading vlog documenting this poor decision. So look forward to those in the near future if you're interested in how this goes for me. Thanks for making it to the end of the video. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.